Y'all pull your chair up a little bit closer, and I'll tell you about this engine right here. I kind of got carried away. Got the gas tank on there. I put them lines on there, and the gas tank, it's a new one up in the bottom. It's got a good coat. It's not cream. It's that Eastwood has got a gas tank liner solution. So I tried some of that. I like to try everything. Just pass it on to me and I'll give it a try. Give you my honest opinion about it. But I did go ahead and coat that gas tank. It's a brand new tank. I think it come from Hit&Miss. I got it on the trade somehow. So we got the new gas tank in there. The line's on here, and that's original, and that's a unpainted part right in there. I got a new pipe there. Got that thing on there. Got that all tight. And on this side over here, we got that vent. And I put that little cotter key right there, cotter thing in the top, and spreaded it out and put that down on there. And I think that keeps a dirt dauber out of there. Let's call it a shop tip. The very early type M's did not have this. The crankcase did not have a hole in it. It was a little bit different. Everything was the same size, it just didn't have a vent right there. So we got that on there, and also we got the drain in it down there, and I left that out a little bit long right there so that when I drain the fuel out of it, I won't get it on the cart, because I like to run those skinny carts. And you may notice that we've got that exhaust system on there, that muffler, glass pack, 2 coats of that Rust-Oleum barbecue paint. It's a flat black, high heat. Works really good, really good on exhaust systems. And I'll tell you something else it's one of them, let's call it a fact from over here on the east coast of Arkansas. If this part right here, you see this part that's black right here? That's the only painted part on this engine. And it blends right in. I think it's in harmony with itself. But had I painted this exhaust system with silver paint, it would sound different. The harmonics out of a exhaust system that's painted silver is different than the harmonics from an exhaust system painted black. I don't know of any scientific proof of that. It's just some observation that I made. If you want a mellow side on your exhaust report, paint it black, flat black. We got that done. That's all tight, good to go. We don't have to come back to that. And you remember we got that fuel pump on there, presenting that fuel pump. What we have to do now is put the fuel lines on it. And I didn't record this putting this gas tank in here on this engine, but you can go back in the playlist, and I do have a video that shows how to put that gas tank in there. I just got carried away, or I would have put it on video. So let's put them fuel lines on there, and we'll talk about them as we go. And I had one really good fuel line, if you remember, almost new for this. I'm gonna show you something. This is all we had. This, y'all see this? I'm gonna show it to you. This pipe right here. This is all I had, and it was a real nice one. So I actually wanted to use copper lines on this engine because of what it is. So actually that goes right there, and it's fitting right here. So we have to hook that up. But first, I'll show you about this, hooking this fuel pump from the tank to the fuel pump. And you're going to say, well, you know, that's not very professional. But I tell you what, this right here actually really works, and you won't have no problems if you do it right. And what I did, I'll show you. A fuel line, this is original, and you see where that ferrule was at when they tightened that up. They squeezed that up so tight right there that that's actually a size less than this size out here. So I wanted to use this original brass line, and it's been modified. I had to turn this. I had to turn that at an angle to get this to work, but it works so good. I think I'm gonna put it on there, and then you leave a comment as to what you think about it. But what I've done is I put a coat of that. I'll show you. It's Teflon. Y'all see that Teflon tape right there? I cleaned that with a wire brush. This down here done been done. And I put that tape around there. Okay, y'all watch this. And I brung that tape all the way around yonder, being careful not to get it over the end out there, because I don't want to cut none off of it and squeeze none of it away and it get caught up in your check ball. Just don't do it that way. Do it like this right here. Hold back from the end a little bit. So you wrap that tape around there. I'm gonna get one. When you get a new ferrule and you put it on there, I'll show you something. It almost fits. So what you do is you trim away this. It's on the inside. Most time you can do it with your fingernail. Okay. And you know, sometimes I tell you stuff will be on the test. Well, this right here won't be on the test. But when you pull your engine out there in the yard and you get ready to start it, if it starts on the first or the second turn of the flywheel, you pass the test at that point. And this right here, if you do this right here is what gets you a 100% plus grade. I mean, the only way you could get better than this right here is a new brass tubing. Even at the end, I would rather have this, because this is actually what came on an engine at one. This is 1926, in that time period. So, and with all of that said, the point being made, I'm gonna use this right here, and it was too long. It had been bent wrong. Probably the fuel pump got broke and this got hooked on something and pulled it out this way, but I still wanted to use it. So earlier I did that, and I put some of that gasola sealer right around there, and I taped these nuts up here, them whatever they call, so that they wouldn't get down there and mistreat that. So it's got a ferrule in there, it's got that thread tape under it, it's got a little gasola on top of it, same way on both ends. These are all tight. Now when you're tightening this up right here, write this on that blank page in your book. That page ain't got nothing wrote on it. Write down there that this right here is not to be toyed with. That's the weakest point on this engine. Oh, it's terribly weak. It's a good design, but they should have casted that out like this right here somehow, made a wider thing right here. Oh, okay, I'll tell you some history too. Listen up. On these blocks right here, you see right in yonder, I should have pointed that out earlier. See that? When they made this engine, there's a little cutaway right behind that, a little gap out of that, where this fuel pump goes. Okay? There is actually an engine that don't have that cutout. It's just straight across through there. Okay, there's another one that has the cutout in the back here and the cutout here. It's got both of them, so you could use a fuel pump back yonder if you wanted to. Okay, there's another one where it only has the back one. Don't have this one. And just a little engine history. Okay, I'm going to put this on here. And I done already pre-fitted it. And I had to cut it off and make sure it was clean inside. And deburr it and run a file around it and some Scotch-Brite on the outside to keep the patina to it. Okay, if I put that up in the top yonder, and I put this right down here like that, it fitted. It fitted in there. So I think we'll do the topping first and come up there and get that started on there straight. But don't tighten it up, because you need some wobble room right down yonder on this one down here. Okay, let's move that tape right there and start this one down here lightly. And if it's you do not want to get a thread on there, a cross thread. Oh, it's really bad. And I'm not sure about that one on the bottom down there. Now I'm just gonna go lightly on it for a minute there. I mean, it's chancy at best, but and it's not. See, it's going crooked. No, I should not have did that. It has to be out like this right here. If you get one that's going crooked, yeah, that's not right. And I've had that on there, and I think I had a problem with it before. Oh, we got it then. See it go up there by fingers? Oh yeah. And that's the bottom one. And so I'm gonna, and it's kind of loose. See, I can move this just a little bit, and as I wiggle that, I'm going to tighten it up to make sure that that ferrule squeezes up on the brass tubing. Okay, and I felt it get tight. So I'm gonna come up here and confirm that I got that one going straight, and go ahead and tighten it up. And you can feel it. You can get a feel in your wrench when you're actually tightening it up. When it's tight enough, you can feel it. Okay, and that's enough. It's really tight. Now down here on the bottom, instead of tightening that up right there, what you want to do is put your wrench on the fitting. Okay, and you want to hold that, put this wrench right here, and twist the two together, and you put just enough pressure on this one. It equalizes the pressure on the fuel pump there. Just imagine that. Okay, and that's pretty tight. Oh, that's really good. And I got a little room on the thing right there, because it is a different. And we're going to try this. And what I'll do is I'll let that. I'm not going to attempt to run the engine tonight. It's about 10 o'clock here, and you know, just had it was kind of like they'll say, you know, how do you know when it's time to do something on one of them engines, and now's the time, you know, whatever it is. Okay. Now the way this is worked out, and I don't think we'll have any leaks. I really don't. And in the way it's worked out, I had to turn this a little bit, because I think the original one went straight down here, come down here and made a loop and come back and went this way. So this is not the shape of the original one, but it fitted real good. There's no pressure on this, or there's no pressure on that. And the output, I found one over there equally. It's brass, original, and I did the same thing to that right there. Thread tape, a ferrule, a little gasola, and that's where gasola is supposed to be used on the fuel system. And it's got some nicks and some scars, you know, some battle scars, kind of history of an engine, not this one, but at least it'll have a full set of brass fuel lines. And that's the reason I didn't use these up. And hold that back a little bit, put that right down in there, and then on the front up here, I have to work it. What I'm going to do is work it up in this fitting and get this started. It'll be off camera a little bit, but you know what I'm doing. We'll come back to it. Okay, you move that back a little bit like that and bring that up there. And the biggest problem here is getting these cross-threaded. These threads here, they're small, and most of the time they are battle scarred. So if you're lucky, if you are lucky, I've had this on here before. This is one I was going to use. And see, that one's a little bit. I'm gonna take it back out. Okay. And leave it out down here, and now I'm going to try it back up yonder at the top again to see if it. Oh yeah, that's that nut that was iffier earlier in the day. I don't like that. I should take that off there, but boy, if we was be lucky enough to get that started. Yeah, I know. Right there it is. I mean, it's the size and everything. The good part about it, and there's a flat place on this nut, right, a couple of nut right there is what it is. Or maybe, you know what I think it is? I think that fitting's a little bit backwards. So I'm gonna put an adjustable wrench on that and turn it. Okay. I actually think it needs to go to the back a little bit. Boy, such a little bit. I can do it. And, okay, yeah, I know you can't see it, but I'm going to have to pay attention just a minute. Okay. Boy, it wasn't much, but I felt it move. You know, once you feel it move, any more might be too much. But it's not going to start. I have another one. Well, if I'll be so lucky. Actually, it needs to go a little more. It needs to go a little more. I'm going the right way, so I'm going to move it a little more. It's the angle. It's the angle. It's the angle of the threads that's holding me up here. Surely it don't need to go no more, but I believe it does. You know, no, I'm not sure. I hate to put a wrench on that. You know, if it ain't right and you turn it just a little bit, then it's too much. But, you know, sometimes you have to. See, it didn't start. So if it pulled another thread out of there, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to turn it a little more now. And what I'm doing is turning this elbow backwards. Like so. But it only needs to go such a little bit. It would be easy. It would be easy to get too much. Oh, I believe it started. I believe that started on there. Let's hope it did. Oh yeah. Whew. Oh, I was worried about that. I was worried about this. Right here's what I'm talking about. See it tighten up. I was really worried about that. Now what I'm gonna do, it'll be off camera, but I'm gonna push up on this pipe right here. Push it up in yonder for it to go when I tighten it up. And the same way down here. Now we have to get this one started. With luck,